Hello and welcome to this short presentation that could turn out to be one of the smartest money moves that you will make in your lifetime. Because the strategy I'm about to share will show you how to leverage the dormant equity that you have in your home and multiply it exponentially by buying an investment property that a tenant will pay off for you. And by implementing this strategy, you could be in a position to buy your first investment property inside the next 30 days without taking $1 out of your savings account. And many people who have implemented this exact same strategy have been able to pay off the mortgage on their family home in under 10 years, or funded their children's education, or given their retirement savings a boost to be confident of not having to degrade their lifestyle when they stopped working. Ultimately, this strategy will help you to feel financially secure about your future and in time can become a backstop you can rely on should anything occur that keeps you from earning an income. So, if those outcomes are things that you would like to achieve, then staying with me for the next few minutes is going to be a great use of your time because I'm going to explain exactly how it's done. My name is Greg Gale, and as a licensed mortgage broker, I specialize in teaching people how to leverage the equity they have in their home and use it to grow their wealth by owning residential investment property. And the good news I have about this strategy is that it is easy to implement and makes so much sense, you're going to wonder why you didn't do it sooner. Now, after many years of helping people to achieve their financial and wealth goals, it becomes apparent that most people want help to achieve one, if not all, of these three outcomes through their lifetime. Number one, everybody wants to know how they can pay their mortgage off as fast as possible. Number two, many people want help to build a nest egg that can fund their children's future education needs. And thirdly, people want help with strategies that can help them accumulate enough wealth so that in retirement, they can fund the same sort of lifestyle that they have had during their income earning years. Now, the reason why banks lend money on property is history shows that the right property can be one of the safest and most predictable investment opportunities that exists. And because banks will allow on the right property to borrow up to 80% of its value, let me run through a very basic example of how an everyday homeowner can make a 20% return using someone else's money, buying an investment property. Let's say one day you decided that you wanted to increase your wealth by buying an investment property, but you didn't want to use any of your savings. In simple terms, here's what you would do. Firstly, you would want to access the equity you have in your home so you could use it as a deposit on an investment property purchase. And let's say that by doing a cash out refinance, you could withdraw $150,000 of equity. And with that $150,000, you used it as a 20% deposit on a $600,000 investment property, meaning that you would also have to arrange a new mortgage to complete the purchase on the investment property. So the new mortgage in this case would be for $450,000. Now, the good thing about this particular property you are buying is it's in a good location, which makes it easy to rent, and the tenant's rent you receive covers any interest on the money you have borrowed to buy the property. So in essence, you are using someone else's money that costs you nothing to use. Let's park that for 1 minute. If we look at the rate that home values have increased on average over the past 20 years in many cities and regional areas across the US, the statistics would tell you that on average in the last 20 years, home values have increased by an average of 7% year over year. But for this example, let's be conservative and use a 5% per year average growth rate. Now, back to our example. After year one, assuming a 5% increase on the investment property, it is now worth $630,000. Let's look at what happens after a year of owning that property. Your stake in the now $630,000 investment property after 1 year has grown from $150,000 to $180,000. And after a year, if we decided that we didn't like the idea of owning an investment property and we sold it after paying back the money that we borrowed, we would be left with a capital gain profit of $30,000. Meaning we made a 20% return on the $150,000 that cost us nothing to borrow because that's the tenant's rent. Now, let me ask you a question. How many weeks of work does it take you to earn $30,000? Well, imagine passively making $30,000 each year by owning just one investment property. Now, that's not where the story ends. In fact, it's just the beginning. If you let your property appreciate in value on this basis, can you see how if you held it for 10 years and then sold it, the right property could give you enough of a profit that you could be in a position to pay off your 30-year mortgage in 10 years or less? And if you did that, imagine how much interest you could save. Imagine being mortgage-free after 10 years instead of after 30 years. And of course, those gains could be used for your children's education or for your retirement. And the amazing thing is that the strategy literally didn't cost you anything because of the tenant's rent and potentially other tax deductions that you could claim. Now, the next thing I want you to consider is the effect of owning, say, 3 investment properties that each grew in value like the example I just went through. Time doesn't permit me to go through all the math in chapter and verse. However, believe me when I tell you that if you bought and owned 3 investment properties like the example and held them over a 15-year period, your wealth will have grown by a staggering $3 million. And that is a common outcome that I show my clients that they can look forward to by leveraging the otherwise dormant equity they have in their home and using someone else's money. So that brings me to you and what you want to achieve for the future. Would you like to learn more about what you can do with the dormant equity in your home? Would you like to be able to secure an outcome like the one that I described in the example? Of course you would. And here's how I can make that happen for you. On the bottom of this page, you will see a button that says book a 30-minute investment property strategy chat with me. When you click on the button, it will take you to my personal calendar. All you need to do is pick a time that suits you. Let me know what you want to achieve in the intake form. In our call together, I will tell you the following 3 things. Number 1, I will explain the steps involved so you can be financially ready to start looking for a suitable investment property inside of 30 days. Number 2, I can tell you the types of properties you should take an interest in and also the ones that you should avoid, and I will let you know the price range of the properties that your financial circumstances will allow you to buy. And number 3, I will show you how to buy another 2 investment properties inside of 3 years. So, once again, click on the button below, pick a time that suits you, and I look forward to speaking with you. Bye for now.